What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Richard and I'm the guy in the red suit. We are going to continue reviewing some more cards of Hearthstone, Journey to Un'Goro, the new expansion coming out on the 6th of April, I guess. They have announced some new cards. I'm going to go through 30 of them right now. And so let's start with the first one. 7 mana 4/4, so no longer 4 mana 7/7, I got the joke. Called Stone Sentinel, and its battle cry is: if you played an elemental last turn, summon 2/2/3 elementals with taunt. So basically it's a 4 mana 4/4 with an Feral Spirit effect without the overload, so it's pretty good, but you need to have played an elemental last turn. And for Shaman that's not really that hard, because they got Fire Elemental on turn 6, which is a really good card by itself, and Stone Sentinel on top of it is crazy. With all those elemental shenanigans, I think that elemental are pretty good and they're really strong, but I don't see how they are better against those Jade decks out there. I think this card is pretty good, but I think elementals are just too weak to all those Jades. The next one is the next elemental called Osrok, a 9 mana 5/5, but with the battle cry, gain 5 health for each elemental you played last turn. So when you played 2, it's a 5/15, if you played 3, it's a 5/20, and so on. Which sounds pretty good, but on turn 9, as a defensive card, against aggro you're already dead, and against control I think it's just gonna pop. So I think this card is not that good. Against priest it's really bad, because they got their 1 mana reduce enemy attack by 3, and then they can steal with Cabal Shadow Priest. They could mind control it and so on. So I think Osrok is a really bad card. I think it's overpriced. I think it would be way better if it's on 8 or maybe on 7. If it would be on 7, it could be an Ancient of War, the card for Druid, which is a 7 mana 5/10, and with only 1 elemental played on the last turn, you could play this as a 5/10 on turn 7. So I guess this card is a little bit overpriced. It could get out of control, but I don't see any way this is going to be played. Up next we have Firefly, another elemental. It's a 1 mana 1/2. The 1/2 elemental that is added to the end has no stats, so it's just an elemental. With Firefly it's easier to play all those elementals that require you to play an elemental on the last turn. So it's an okay card. I guess it's not that good, but let's see how elementals are rolling out. Up next we have Primal Fin Lookout, a 3 mana 3/3. No, 3/2. With the battle cry, if you control another Murdock, discover a Murdock. And itself, it's also a Moloch. So this is a great card in my opinion, because when you play Moloch, you always run out of cards really quickly. And on turn 3, maybe that is what Molochs need. And I can see a world where Moloch, Shaman, or other Moloch decks are working. So I really like this one, and I really hope that Moloch's gonna have a comeback. Up next we have Unite the Murlocs, a 1 mana quest for Shamans, and it requires you to summon 10 Murlocs. As a reward you get a Megafin, which is a 5 mana 8/8 that fills your hand fully with Murlocs. The quests, you have to summon them, so you don't have to play Murlocs. So all those Murlocs that summon another Murloc, like the Murloc Tidehunter for example, are going to work with this quest, and it's not that hard to achieve the quest even in the early game. So I think this is a pretty cool card and pretty cool quest. Also with the Primal Fin Lookout I talked about, I think this quest is not that hard and pretty easy and pretty good, and if you fill your hands with random Murlocs, that's great. So I can see a world where Murloc Shaman is a thing, and I really hope for Murloc, so yeah, thumbs up for this one. And up next we have the next elemental. It's the Shaman Legendary, Kalimos Primal Lord, an 8 mana 7/7. And its battle cry is, if you played an elemental last turn, cast an elemental invocation. What's an elemental invocation? It could be used offensively or defensively. It either heals your hero for, I guess, 12, or deals 6 damage to your opponent's face, deals 3 damage to all your opponent's minion, or there is a fourth one, I can't remember. Yes, fill your board with 1/1 elementals. So it's a pretty good card, but it's really useless if you don't have any elemental played last turn. So it could be good. Maybe elementals gonna see play, I doubt it. So yeah, let's wait and see for those Murdock Shamans, I guess, because elemental Shamans are not going to be a thing in my opinion. And up to the next one, which is Tolvir Stone Shaper, 4 mana 3/5, so it's Sentient Shieldmaster stats, and it doesn't have Taunt, but if you played an elemental last turn, it gains Taunt and Divine Shield, so it's a little bit better Sentient Shieldmaster if you've played an elemental before. If you didn't, it's just a 3/5 with nothing. I think this card is okay, but in my opinion, it's missing the elemental tag itself, because if you want those cards where you have to play an elemental last turn, this is going to block your combo, so you cannot play some kind of, if you played an elemental last turn card on turn 5, because it isn't an elemental. So I think this card is okay, it's going to see play, and I'm definitely gonna try it out in the elemental Shaman and all those elemental decks, but I don't think it's good enough. Up next we have a 2 mana 2/2 called Hydrologist, and it's a paladin card, and its battle cry is to discover a secret. So this secret is going to really be a secret, because you often do not play any secret, so your opponent won't know what you did pick. And a 2 mana 2/2 is like Shielded Minibot or Archon Protector, which makes it okay. Is it better than Shielded Minibot? Of course not. Against Archon Protector, I think they could be compared one to another. And yeah, I really like this card. Also, it's a Murdock card, and with all those Murdock synergy coming up, maybe there's also some space for Moloch Paladin? Who knows? I would say it's an okay card, it's gonna be used, and yeah, let's wait and see. And up next we have the quest for rogues. Its quest is to play 4 minions with the same name, and as a reward you get Crystal Core. What's Crystal Core? It's a 5 mana spell, and for the rest of the game your minions are 5/5s. So you have to play 4 minions with the same name. You can't use summoned minions, you just have to play them. So you need all those bounce effects like Shadow Step or the Brewmasters. The 2 mana 2/3 from Gadgetzan that comboed 1 minion back to your hand. And is this quest hard to achieve? I mean, you are going to play all those 1/1s, like the card draw, like Swashbuckler, and so on, and you are happy to bounce them back. But I think there's a lot of tempo lost when you play the quest on turn 1, and then you play a minion, bounce it back, play it again, maybe bounce it back, play it again, and you have played this minion 3 times. But then you are waiting for your 4th minion or to bounce back this one. And if you can't bounce it back, it's gonna get destroyed. So I think this quest is one of the harder ones, and I'm not sure if the reward is that good. I mean, yeah, it can change your 1 mana 1/1s or 2 mana 1/1s into 5/5s. But is this good enough? I mean, you're losing a lot of tempo, so I don't think this is a great quest. I really don't see any way this is going to work out. So yeah, I'm going to try it definitely, but I don't think this is a good card. Up next we have Mimic Pot, a 3 mana spell for Rogue, and it draws you a card, and then you add another copy of it, like Fistelty. Fistelty, draw you 1 card and add 2 copies to your hand. So this is going to support the quest mechanic, but if you draw a spell, it's not gonna work because it's not a minion. So is Mimic Pot going to be good? I think it's just as bad as Fistelty, because it's too slow. 3 mana to draw 2 cards is okay. It's like Arcane Intellect, but a copy of the card and not 2 cards. Yeah, I think if it's going to see any play, it's more in the later game. And do you even require to get multiple cards from your deck in the later game? I mean, you would want that quest to be finished on turn 5, so you can play the reward immediately. But you are not gonna play Mimic Pot on turn 3 to get lucky with some kind of minion. So I don't see this is going to be played in a lot of decks, and I think this is a really bad card. Up next we have a 5 mana 3/5, again Shieldmaster stats with 1 more mana, for a hunter called Tavia Warden, and its battle cry is draw 2 1-cost minions from your deck. So the hunter quest is to play an amount of 1-drops, so this card is going to support the quest. And I think Hunter is going to be insane, aggro Hunter especially, because you just play 1-drops, this guy, the quest, and if you finish the quest, you just draw all those 1/1s from the quest reward and never die again. Yeah. It's a good card. I think in combination with the quest it's even better. Alone, a standalone, it's a bad card, but in combination with the quest it's really good. Up next we have Glacial Shard, a 1 mana 2/1, and its battle cry is to freeze an enemy. Also it has the elemental tag, which makes it better, and the freeze mechanic is you often do not require it, so a 1 mana 2/1 that doesn't do really that much is no. On to the next one. And it's a priest card, a 3 mana 3/3 called Curious Glimmer Root. Its battle cry is look at 3 cards. Guess which one started in your opponent's deck to get a copy of it. So you look at 3 random cards. One of those cards is from your opponent's deck. It's not from his starting hand or still left in his deck. It's one that he has put in his deck, out of his 30 cards. I think it should be pretty easy to get the card you are looking for, and if you have no clue, you have 33% chance to win. So this is a really good card. I mean, the stats 3 mana 3/3 are not that great, but priests want cards from other decks because their own cards just suck. So yeah, I think this is going to see play a lot in priest. I think the battle cry is always just draw 1 random card from your opponent's deck. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. Up next we have Volcanoes, 7 mana 5/6 with the battle cry adapt, then adapt. So you're gonna adapt 2 times, so maybe you can make it an 5 mana, 7 mana 5/9 with taunt, or an 8/6 with that can't be targeted by spells. You can adapt twice. Is it good? I don't think so. It has the beast tag, so it supports Hunter and maybe Druid. But for 7 mana, that's really expensive. I mean, you could play a 6 mana 6/7 with no stats on it. The Boulder Fist Ogre, and it's better than this one. But you get the card for free if you log in during all those stages until Journey to Un'Goro is released. So yeah, free dust, I guess. Up next we have Volcanoes Ooze, a 3 mana 3/3, again a 3 mana 3/3. With the battle cry, destroy your opponent's weapon and gain armor equal to its attack. This is the best ooze or the best weapon removal we are going to have in the game, because it's going to destroy your opponent's weapon and it gives you the armor equal to its attack. So if your opponent plays I don't know, you are also happy with destroying Doomhammer and gain 2 armor. This card screams anti-aggro because it's just gonna destroy your opponent's weapon. Maybe you are playing against Pirate Warrior after the expansion hits, so you could get some armor and destroy a weapon. Yeah, I think this card is pretty good. It's going to be a one-off in a lot of my decks, I guess. Love it. So on to the next one. It's a 3-mana secret spell called Manabind for mages, and the secret is when your opponent casts a spell, add a copy to your hand that costs 0. So this card is pretty unpredictable, I guess, because you either play it or you don't, and if it's going to be played, it's going to be played in the later stages of the game, because that's when your opponent is going to cast those big spells, and you want to steal or copy mind control for 0 mana, which is great, but you don't want to play this early in the game, I guess. But is it better than Counterspell? And that's where I'm asking myself. Counterspell removes the enemy spells and protect yourself from lethal damage and so on, but Manabind doesn't do it. It just gives you the same spell, and maybe it's not gonna help you in any way. You don't need Deadly Poison from Rogue. You also don't need other cards like Divine Favor or Seal of Champions, because those cards are not good in Mage. And are you going to play Manabind over Counterspell? I guess not. Maybe Secret Mages see play, but I don't think so. So in my opinion, this card is not really good. Up next we have a 5-mana 3/4 that combos destroy an enemy minion, a rogue card called Manabind Slayer. And you already have Assassinate, which destroys an enemy minion, so this can destroy any minion, also your own minions. And Assassinate costs 5 mana and destroys an enemy minion. But, and that's the big but, is the combo easy to achieve? And I think it's not. It's also the reason why Shadowpan Panther is not gonna see any play, because it's really hard to combo. Maybe you are going to save and backstab for Manabind Slayer, and it also has a body, but yeah, I think I love this card. It's a great card, but I think it's really hard to combo it, so I think it's gonna be on par with Assassinate. If you want to play Assassinate, you are going to play Manabind Slayer instead. But are you gonna play Assassinate? And the answer is probably no, so I don't see this card work out that much, and yeah, not that great of a card. So on to the next one, which is Living Mana, a 5-mana spell for druids. And it transforms your mana crystals into 2/2 minions, and your mana crystals get recovered when the minions die. If you are on 10 mana and you play this for 5, it uses up 2 additional mana, because it's going to use the used mana first. Then you have a full board, 7 minions that are 2/2s with a Death Rattle, and Death Rattle gives you an empty mana crystal back. If your opponent doesn't kill your living manas, you won't get a mana crystal back. And if you kill it then on the following turn yourself, you only get empty mana crystals back. So you can't use them immediately. But I think this card could work out, because if you're playing cards like Savage Roar or Mark of the Lotus, those minions could get out of control really easily. So your opponent probably wants to kill your living manas, but maybe not all of them. Maybe he's keeping up 1 or 2 living manas, so he kind of interrupts your next turn. I think this card anyways is pretty good. Of course, Mass Dispel is the hard counter to this. I could see an token aggro druid playing this card, and it's probably gonna work out. Maybe you're playing living mana on turn 6, and on top you play Mark of the Lotus to make 3/3s with those Death Rattles. Yeah, I think it's a great card. Up next we have Mirage Caller, a 3-mana 2/3 for Priest, with a battle cry to choose a friendly minion, and you summon a 1/1 copy of it. So it's like Herald Volage, the legendary minion for priest that summons a 1/1 copy for each of your other minions, but it's a 3-mana 2/3, which is not that good. It could be a 2-mana 2/2 with the same battle cry, it would be okay. So you get one, for 1 mana you get 1 health, and I think that's not good enough. And with Sylvanas and Ragnaros going out of the standard format, I think Mirage Collar is probably not gonna work. Up next we have Corrupting Mist, a 2-mana Warlock spell, which corrupts every minion and destroys them at the start of your next turn. So it's like Doomsayer as a board clear. It's 100% board clear on your next turn, but all the minions your opponent is going to summon on his turn are not gonna die, like with Doomsayer. But Doomsayer can be killed, and this one can only be silenced if you want to silence your own minions. So I think this is a really good card. You may play it on turn 4 and life tap into more answers, and on turn 5 he's going to play a 5-drop and you may have your answer already. So Corrupting Mist is an okay card, I guess. Up next we have Lost in the Jungle, 1-mana paladin spell that summons 2 1/1 Silverhand recruits. Yeah, a good card, and it's the pendant to Living Roots, the druid 1-mana spell. But the druid spell has to choose one effect, so you could either deal 2 damage or summon those 2/2s. Is this card bad now? I don't think so, because there are some Silverhand recruit buffing cards in this set. So this is just going to be really good. Up next we have a 1-mana 1/1 weapon called Multiblade, and each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a new weapon. So it's like Shift Thesaurus, but Shift Thesaurus only transformed into minions and this only transformed into weapons. I don't think it's going to see that much play, as Shift Thesaurus did not see that much play. I mean, the pool of cards with weapons is way smaller than with minions, so you could get the card you want more easily, like Doomhammer, of course. I don't think it's going to see play, and yeah, it's a warrior weapon, so still nothing for rogue, I guess. Up next we have the Hunter quest, the one I was talking before. It's called the Marsh Queen. What is the Marsh Queen quest? You have just to play 7 1-drop minions. That's it. You get the Queen Carnassa as a reward, which is a 5-mana 8/8, I guess, dinosaur, which shuffles then 15 raptors in your deck, and those raptors are 1-mana 3/2s that draw a card. So you draw your whole deck after you play the Marsh Queen, and your opponent is then dead. I think this quest is really good. I think it's super easy for hunters to play 1-drops because they have all those good 1-drops. I mean, Fiery Bat is a great card. LA Cat is okay. And they do get another 1-drop in this expansion. I think I'm going to talk about it later. So yeah, the Marsh Queen is a great quest, and I'm definitely gonna try it out, and I think Aggro Hunter is back. This one is 2-mana 3/2 that adapts a friendly beast as a battle cry. Itself, it's also a beast, and it's called Crackling Razormaw, and it's a hunter card. So it's not like this elemental card I've been talking before that does something if you played an elemental last turn, and itself it's not an elemental. So this adapts a friendly beast, and it's also itself a friendly beast. If you played a quest with all those 1-drops, you may have played something on turn 1, and I think it's an awesome card. I think it's really strong, and Aggro Hunter is going to see a lot of play due to the quest, due to discard, due to all those 1-drops. So yeah, it's really, really, really good. Up next we have King Marsh, a 9-mana 9/7 warrior legendary. And its battle cry is to destroy all damaged minions. So you are going to play this with probably Whirlwind for 1 mana, and you wipe the board on turn 10. Is it good? I don't think so. It's way too late in the game. You probably are either dead or you don't want to play this minion. A 10-mana removal for 2 cards, why not just play Deathwing? I think Deathwing is way better than this card. So yeah, it should probably just cost 7 mana, 8 mana at max, but 9 mana is way too expensive, so it's not gonna see any play. Up next we have the 1 mana drop for hunters I was talking about before, called Small Raptor. It's a 1 mana 2/1, and its death rattle is to shuffle a 1 mana for free raptor in your deck. It's not gonna give you immediately value, but it's going to support your quest a lot. And in this case, I think it's an okay card, but you are going to play Fiery Bat before you're going to play this one, because Fiery Bat is going to bring with its 1 damage immediately value, while Small Raptor doesn't. It's just a plain 1 mana 2/1, and if you draw your 1 mana for free later in the game, you are either happy or I guess not, because you don't want those 1 drops later. You want your big drops like Savannah Highmane. So is this card good? I think it's okay. It's not blatantly broken. It probably is going to see play in all those Hunter Quest decks. Up next we have Terrascale Stalker, a 3 mana 3/3 with the battle cry to trigger a friendly minion's death rattle. So it could be compared to Princess Huron, but Princess Huron is bad, and I think this card is okay, because you can play it really early and you could combo it with Savannah Highmane on turn 9, get 1 extra damage from your Fiery Bats, and it's okay. It's not gonna see play in all those quest hunter decks, I guess, but in all other hunter decks. Maybe there's an Asaf hunter coming back. So yeah, it's a good card. It's not broken, it's just stable. Next we have another 3 mana 3/3. This card is called Thunder Lizard, and its battle cry is if you played an elemental last turn, adapt. So it could be a 3 mana 3/6, which is great. But you need to have played an elemental on turn 2 or the turn before. It's okay, I mean it's a beast, so maybe there's also going to be a beast, maybe Beast Druid or a beast elemental hunter. And for that point it's an okay card. I don't think it's going to see that much play, but if it is, it's going to be really good. Up next we have Light Fused Stegodon, a 4 mana 3/4 paladin card with the battle cry to adapt your Silverhand recruits. This combined with the 1 mana spell I was talking about before that summons 2 Silverhand recruits is pretty good. I mean, it's really expensive for 4 mana. You're sacrificing a 1/1 stat to adapt your Silverhand recruits, and that makes it an okay card, but I think it would be better if I could adapt every single Silverhand recruit one after another, but it's not gonna happen. So it's okay. It's okay. And last but not least, we have Hammett the Jungle Hunter, a 6 mana 6/6 with a really interesting battle cry. It destroys all cards in your deck that costs 3 or less. So you want to play this card later in the game to destroy all those useless small early game cards you no longer want to draw. And for that it's an okay card, but is it going to help you that much? I guess not. And Hammett Nessingberry hasn't been that great of a card earlier on. Maybe it's going to see playing control. The only way I can see this card get out of control is if you're playing Jade Druid and you have your Jade Idol in hand, you play this, all your deck gets wiped out, and you're only left with maybe Jade cards and the Auctioneer. So you could cycle all your Jade Idols that has been in your hand in your deck and draw them and play them. So that's the only way I think this card is going to be broken. But in all those other decks, I don't think so. So that's it for the next 30 cards for the Journey to Ungoro expansion in Hearthstone, coming up in early April, I guess. If you enjoyed my review, give this video a like and write in the comments if you agree or disagree maybe with one card. Maybe I'm overseeing something. And as always, tell a friend about the guy in the red suit.